When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hello everybody, my name is Jose Preppers Man-Made Survival, and thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Thank you so much for supporting this work and for spreading it far and wide. Thank you so much everybody on all the platforms from doing so. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. That really helps spreading this message and you know, getting out there for more people to see and be more informed, especially with what happened just today, and especially this past weekend. This past weekend, everything just went crazy. I don't know if they waited for the weekend to come along and then do those things, hopefully thinking that people would be too busy, you know, doing their own thing and then going back to work on Monday, and they would now look at the news. But fortunately, you got me, because I was looking at the news and everything just went crazy. So before I get started with everything that I want to talk today, I'm going to give you the official numbers and all the other stuff that's been going on too. Official numbers for the coronavirus is 89,872 infected with 3,071 dead. 9,846 infections outside of outside of China, with South Korea at 4,335, Italy 1,712, Japan 274, Iran 1,501, Mexico 3, and the US, it just went up right before I came out here. They got updated and now it's 91 infected, and now we have 5 deaths in the United States, which is crazy. That is very crazy. So now the virus is now in 7 states: Washington, California, Illinois, Rhode Island, New York, Florida, and Oregon. So things have gone crazy this week and everything exploded. If you saw the conference that the Trump administration had on Saturday, it was very disappointing. Very disappointing. And everything that they talked about as far as coronavirus goes was very disappointing, and it was pretty irresponsible in their part, especially holding such high positions in the government, for them to talk about the virus in the manner that they did. And it's just irresponsible, because they giving people if there were people already denying it, now they're even more talking about it, saying that it's not a bad thing, you know, that's not serious. But people don't think anything about it until it actually hits their home, right? But anyways, I want to start with this video from New York. Here we go.
Oh my God! What? This is
So there you go. The panic buying has hit the U.S. in New York. Here's the headline. Panic buying hits New York City as anxious shoppers stock up on food and medical supplies after healthcare worker in her 30s becomes a Big Apple's first confirmed coronavirus patient. Shoppers have been seen scrambling for groceries at supermarkets in Brooklyn and Queens in New York. Social media videos have emerged of people panic buying at a Chinese supermarket in Flushing, Queens. Empty shelves were seen in grocery stores around New York amid fears of the spread of the coronavirus. New York had its first case of virus confirmed on Sunday as the national case hit 89. Well, now it's 91. And 2 deaths confirmed. Well, now it's 5 in Washington, and patients at Life Care Center and Evergreens Health Hospital. All right. So there we go, panic buying. I've told you, if you follow this channel for any length of time, you know that I've said that the window of opportunity for you to prepare has been closing, And now panic buying has hit the stores in the United States, and people are probably going to end up paying more, and you'll see here in a few minutes. But now it's only on the East Coast that the panic has hit. It's also on the West Coast. Here's the headline: Corona fears sent West Coast shoppers into panic. This from the New York Post, and here's that video.
Pallet cart there, sir.
We came for water and they're all out.
They're all out. If you'd been here 15 minutes ago, you would have got some. They're getting a little variety. They got a little Gatorade mixed in with their water here. Well, you're really overloading that pallet cart there, sir.
We came for water and they're all out.
They're all out. If you'd been here 15 minutes ago, you would have got some.
I know that. We called in. They said they had some. We got here.
I watched 8 pallets go in the last about half hour.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Every Costco we've been to up down the valley is all sold out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Well, there'll be more on Monday.
Hopefully.
Get here earlier.
Let's do it.
Hay para todos, hay para todos.
I've never been here before. Not even Christmas, New Year. Oh my God! What? This is worse.
Would you care to comment on how busy you are with the carts today, sir?
It's a little out of control out there, but we're having a good time. We're
Yeah.
trying to keep pace with everything, and we just hope everyone decides to stay safe.
Yeah, right on, right on. Like they can't even keep the carts stocked fast enough. I guess a line's forming to get in the Costco. Just unstoppable today. It's unstoppable. Power of the pandemic, power of the panic.
Yep, things are getting serious. People don't believe until, you know, it's pretty much a little late for it. Because now they're putting themselves at risk and other people, and they're probably paying more for what they could have gotten cheap a long time ago. Panic shoppers have been clearing shelves through fears that let's start that one over again. Panic shoppers have been clearing shelves through fears that they could soon be forced to self-quarantine at home if the coronavirus spreads. Photos on social media show empty shelves and shoppers with carts piled high with water, canned foods, and household needs like toilet paper, along with cleaning products such as Clorox wipes and hand sanitizers. The panic is most frenzied in the West Coast, especially California and Seattle, both areas hardest hit by the 71 cases confirmed in the U.S. by Sunday morning, including the first confirmed death. Now it's 5 and 91. At first, a Costco in Oregon ran out of toilet paper. For the first time in its history, employees told My Northwest, saying that the last few days had been the busiest they had ever seen, surpassing even preps for the holiday. Here's a quote: "Toilet paper is golden in an apocalypse," one Costco employee told this site. It's not just the U.S. epicenter of COVID-19 that has gone into panic. However, with the USA Today reporting wild scenes along lines of Costco in Hawaii, and I reported on that one on the past videos where people, they went ahead and bought all that canned food. This one guy bought 192 cans of Spam, and later turned her basement into a supermarket. I mean, obviously these people have the money. If they would just prepare, it would have been a lot easier. If they were just kind of storable food. Here's another quote: "Local health officials told us not to panic buy, and not to freak out. And that was enough to get us to go out and buy everything," shopper Ryan Ozawa, 45, told the paper. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry I killed your last name. But there you go. The government told the people, don't worry, everything's cool, don't panic. You know what people did? Quite the opposite. Oh yeah. Which is, you know, it's you could see that coming. I mean, it's obvious that people are gonna panic buy. They have been panic buying all over the world. The US is no exception. The only difference is that as something start to run out, prices will go exponentially high. You know, things are going to be ridiculous. I don't know if you guys seen on Facebook, I posted that on eBay, some people are selling masks for $10,000. Yes, it's ridiculous as it sounds, but the regular N95 masks for $10,000. That's just crazy. And I'm going to show you, or I'm going to read you this, this headline about Amazon and the people in there also raising the prices. And here it is. Grocers, retailers prepare for surge in demand as coronavirus spreads. This from WSJ.com, which is the Wall Street Journal. Some sellers on the e-commerce side of Amazon.com Inc. and eBay Inc. has set price for masks and sanitizers well above level that are typical for those products in the U.S. stores and website. One Amazon vendor advertised a 12-pack of 8-ounce bottle of Preppare hand sanitizer for $129.90, or more than $12 per bottle. Another one selling a 2-pack of 8-ounce Preppare bottles for $41.95. Average unit price for U.S. hand sanitizer at the end of November was $2.06, according to data provided by Nielsen. One supplier on Amazon listed a 20-count box of Equate brand earlobe medical masks for $44.99. Two 20-count boxes of Equate earlobe masks were priced at $5.94 on Walmart's Inc. website, where they were listed out of stock. Another seller on Amazon had priced 4 20-count boxes of N95 masks made by 3M company for $580.24 plus $19.75 in shipping. An out-of-stock 20-count box of N95 masks at the Home Depot store in Evanston, Illinois was priced at $21.47. There it is. If people would have those preps in place, all right, they could save a whole bunch of money. You just make up, you see the numbers. $10,000 for mask, for the N95 mask that you can get at Walmart or Home Depot or whatever for $20. You see the difference. You can, it's very easy for you to do the math on that one and see why you need to be prepared. Because imagine that for some reason, whatever reason, they can no longer make the masks. What do you think is going to happen? Those prices are going to go up and up and up for whoever has them, has been holding on to them, and then they're going to sell them later. And of course, food has also gone up. The buckets of food. If you go on YouTube, for the people who are watching this or not watching, but listening to this on the podcast, if you go on YouTube, I encourage you to go, because you can see the stuff that I have behind me, the buckets of food and stuff. But like the stuff, the buckets of food that I have behind me, such as the oatmeal, all right, they have gone in price in Amazon as well. There was a bucket of 30 days worth of food for one person that was selling at, let's say, $100. Now it's selling at $300 for the same bucket. So it's not just the masks that have gone up, it's everything else that has also gone up. All right, this is why you should be ready before there's any kind of emergency, because you will save the money, you won't panic buy, and more than likely you're not going to spend money on something that you're probably not going to use. So if anybody in the West Coast or East Coast is watching this video after everything happens and, you know, we're in the clear, if there's anything that you didn't need or that you bought that you didn't need, will you let me know? That way we can have some type of data on how many people actually did that. That way there's more reason for you to sit down with your family, plan it without, you know, panicking or anything like that, with no pressure at all, and see how much you can actually spend and go. Because now, if you were saving your money, you know, so where you didn't want to spend it because prepping is crazy or stupid or whatever, now you're spending a whole lot more on a panic. So that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. All right, so now I'm gonna talk about the very, very disappointing press conference that the Trump administration had on Saturday about the coronavirus. But I'm gonna do so with this article that I found in naturalnews.com. Trump administration officials, do not get prepared. Do not buy masks, food, cleaning supplies, or anything. Just wait for a vaccine and do what you're told. We have now reached the stage of this coronavirus pandemic where the advice from Trump administration officials is almost indistinguishable from that of communist China. Earlier today, the U.S. Surgeon General Jerome M. Adams told America, stop buying masks, he said, as if consumers buying masks. He said that if consumers buy masks, then the hospital will run out, accidentally admitting that hospitals are facing severe mask shortages because they didn't prepare in advance. Surgeon General Adams was also grilled by members of Congress earlier in the week about whether Americans should prepare with extra food or cleaning supplies. His answer of both questions was no or not at this time, indicating that at least this one branch of the Trump administration has become an anti-preparedness ministry of stupid that actively urges people not to get prepared. Instead of purchasing preparedness supplies that might help prevent the spread of coronavirus, Americans are apparently supposed to wait around for a vaccine that might take 2 years. And that's the part that is very disappointing, because they're telling people not to prepare, not to go ahead and have things to kind of stop the spread of the virus. They'd rather wait until the very last minute to where they have an explosion in case, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you gotta get prepared now, which is stupid. And if you're gonna take that kind of advice from people who tell you not to get prepared for something that all around the world we can see in real time is in a desperate situation, then that would be stupid on your part, because you have enough intelligence to see, okay, that Italy, that closed down over 5 cases of coronavirus, 50,000 people went into quarantine all of a sudden, and you think that you shouldn't do the same, prepare? Because if they suddenly still love Los Angeles or Washington State or all these other states that have been popping up with the coronavirus, which now there's 2 in Florida, I mean, come on. The anti-shop list. Here's what you are supposed to not buy according to the Trump administration. Do not buy masks because the hospitals are running out of supplies since they don't prepare for an outbreak, which seems incredibly stupid on their part. They also say do not buy extra food because Vice President Pence went on Rush Limbaugh show, and even though neither one of them is a scientist or a virologist, and I'll kill that, I'm sorry, they both want you to feel warm and fuzzy, that everything is fine, and that they want you to believe the virus that's sweeping through nearly 60 nations around the world will somehow stop in Americans' total unprotected borders. The next one, do not buy extra prescription medications, even though 97% of big pharma drugs are made in China or use ingredients manufactured there. The U.S. pharmacists will be just fine because supply lines are magic and can be repaired by wishing. It helps to be slightly high when wishing, we're told. Do not buy hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies, or colloidal silver since there is no need to clean anything, because Trump will invoke magical miracles to halt the virus, causing it to vanish and be gone virtually overnight. Do not be fearful, because fear is bad, and you should remain totally calm even as you are totally unprepared. In fact, you should have a Zen attitude about everything and stop getting all excited about the possibility that you might die as the world collapses. But do buy stocks, no matter how overvalued, because the Fed promises to make them even more overvalued. And the way that they put it in Natural News is the perfect way, because they told people do not buy masks. He said, that came out of their mouth, If you're an average American citizen, you don't need to be walking around with a mask. You need to be using a mask. And the first thought that came to my mind when I heard that statement was, yeah, tell it to the people in China. See how they feel about that. All right? It's just complete stupidity that everything that they said on Saturday is just very, very irresponsible in their part, because instead of helping people and making them understand that if they take certain steps, they will keep themselves from being sick, they say, don't worry about it, live your best life. If you get sick, you'll be okay, which is totally crazy. Now, this is why you need to go ahead and start getting prepared. You still have a window of opportunity. On some things, the window has closed. On some other things, the window is closing, but you still have time before everything is wiped off the shelf and you can't buy anything anymore. Here's the next headline. Oh yeah, before I go there. This next headline is gonna show how that statement that the guy did, it was so stupid. Because here it is. Coronavirus has been spreading in Washington state for more than 6 weeks, and hundreds could be undiagnosed, says expert. As panic buying spreads and new cases are reported in Rhode Island, Illinois, following first U.S. death, which is now 5. All right. And then here's the next one. This from Tampa Bay. Florida first coronavirus cases found in Hillsborough and Manatee counties. And this line that they keep saying really, really pisses me off. And you'll see why. The first confirmed case of the flu-like virus prompted DeSantis to direct the state Surgeon General, Scott Rickes, to declare a public health emergency. Despite the confirmation, the overall imminent threat to the public remains low, the Florida Department of Health said in its statement. And the reason that just makes me angry to see those type of quotes, and they keep saying it. They all keep saying the same line. The threat to the public remains low. We know that it's not true, all right? If you're listening to the mainstream media at this point, then you're going to be responsible for your own doom pretty much, because you can see, okay? Don't be in denial. You can see how they keep saying the same lines, and they tell you not to worry about it, but now we have almost 100 cases in the United States, 5 dead, and before you know it, it's going to be 200, 500, 1,000, and you're going to see why here in the next headline. Ex-FDA commissioner, there could be hundreds or low thousands of coronavirus cases. That's from The Hill. And just off that headline that he's talking about, just blows your mind, all right? And they keep telling you, don't worry about it, everything's cool. There's low risk to the public. But as you're going to see in this video, he's going to explain to you why there could be low thousands. Here we go.
Centers. What we need to do now is make a real concerted effort to get a therapeutic. We know when this started, but we don't know when this is going to end. And what's going to end it is our technology. Our savior here is going to be our technology. And we need to make a really robust effort to try to develop a therapeutic.
Meaning a treatment? A
treatment or a vaccine, but a therapeutic, a treatment is going to be more likely to be available in the fall. The vaccine's a much longer way off. And we always knew when that once-in-a-generation strain came along, and this might be that strain, that what we were going to have to depend on was our science and something to stop it, like a treatment or a vaccine. A treatment, again, we could have by September, October, potentially.
But more testing means more positive results? I mean, you're saying basically expect the number of those who've been diagnosed with the virus to also increase?
It's going to increase. Right now, there's probably hundreds or low thousands of cases.
Hundreds or low thousands of coronavirus cases in the U.S. that aren't reported?
That aren't reported yet. It's a big country, 340 million people, 330 million people. So anyone's individual risk is still very low. But we need to get those cases diagnosed and identified so we can start getting people quarantined and into treatment and prevent more spread. We need to start mitigating the implications of this spread. There was an analysis out today by Trevor Bradford, very good researcher out of the Hutch, looking at the genetic strains in Washington state. And by looking at the strains and the drift between the different strains for the people who have been diagnosed there, He's suggested that there's perhaps hundreds and maybe low thousands of cases. It's an interesting analysis. There probably are more cases. We have community spread now in Washington State, California, perhaps Illinois, Oregon. So certainly hundreds of cases.
So you heard him, right? So we get one thing from the Trump administration and then everybody else is talking different because we are not dumb. We can see. You can do your own research. You can see what other people are saying. You can see the footage coming out of China. You can see the footage coming out of Italy. You can see the footage coming out of anywhere. I mean, the cell phone, now that cell phones take HD video, you know, there's no denying anything. So I'm going to end with this headline because it's very, very important. Because if things weren't as bad as they were, then this headline would never, ever exist. FEMA preparing for possible coronavirus emergency declaration. This from NBCnews.com. If they were not, like if everything was hunky-dory, like the Trump administration tried to make us believe here in the past few days, then this headline would not exist. And let's not forget, the only reason they're talking that way is because they don't want the stock market to crash. But at this point, if Trump is trying to save the election somehow, I mean, dude, you're 10 months away, you know, whatever months away from the election. You cannot keep this virus hushed all the way to election day and then, you know, whatever the result is. If Trump doesn't stop doing what he's doing with downplaying this, or the people around him, they're going to cost him the election. Because a lot of people are going to say, well, all this information was out there and you kept saying that it was all okay when it really wasn't. So let's see what this headline says from the FEMA, from FEMA preparing for possible coronavirus emergency declaration. It says, FEMA officials are preparing for an infectious disease emergency declaration by the president that would allow the agency to provide disaster relief funding to state and local governments, as well as federal assistance to support the coronavirus response, according to agency planning documents reviewed by NBC News. And here's a quote. To me, this is another indicator that the president and the White House are finally aware of the gravity of the situation. I think they've been aware, all right? They're not stupid. Trump is not dumb. I just think that they are just a little too worried about the stock market and whatever other interest that might be. All right, so do not fall victim to everybody else's downplaying of this situation, because I promise you that people in China do not feel that way. People in Italy don't feel that way. All right, this is serious, and this is we're really not hyping this. All right, the numbers speak for themselves. I give them to you. 89,000, you know, officially. But just in the last week, let's remember, Italy has only had the virus for a week, and they almost have 2,000 cases. South Korea, about the same time, they already have 4,335. Iran, 1,501. The United States went from virtually none to 91 and 5 dead in 2 days. In 2 days. So they're gonna use every excuse in the book, but you should be wise and look past that and get prepared for worst case scenario. All right. But anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this, for staying all the way to the end. Thank you for going over on Facebook and liking the page. I encourage you to do that same, because there's a lot more articles there that I could ever put on video. Please subscribe. Please like the video. That's the only thing we need, you know, help with, because you liking the videos and sharing them, that makes the algorithm put us in the front of the line, and we need to grow. We need this information to get out, because as you see, it's very, very important, because right now the government is dropping the ball on it. But anyways, thank you for everything that you guys have done, and remember, always be ready.
The Man-Made Survival Show.